Peony Promises is what Heidi has been playing with, and there are so many things in the collection. I can hardly wait to share them with you. Will you please come play with us? Like I said, Peony Promise, well, there are cutting dies. There is a gorgeous stamp. I'll set these aside. There's also the card topper kit, the luxury card collection. There's a little book of Peony Promises. There is the printed parchment. There is the adorable scoreable. There is an 8x8 Peony Promise. There are the inserts. Oh my gosh, all of this. And in addition, there is this. Now, this is called a Paramount pop-out window card. Now, this is their concept card, and what happens is that you can make multiple cards because everything is inside, including envelopes, and but they all have the same configuration. So let me just show you ever so briefly. And so you're going to pop out. This is the card base. There's also an insert. I'll show you that in a second. There is another piece that you pop out. It too is printed on both sides. And you do some folding. The directions are right inside. Then you would glue these two pieces together and let that piece insert in the middle. You like that? Then the Paramount is where you layer the same artwork but in smaller pieces. So they're also foiled, as you can see. And so this piece is going to go right on that center section. Whoops. I have some foam tape on it, but I wasn't ready to attach it. So it would be like this. All of these line up nicely together, and then this just pops in the center. Of course, you can add ribbon, you can add anything you want. There are more die cuts with greetings on it. And the way that this opens up is just, whoops, see, it would help if I had it glued together. It opens up just like this. Okay, so you see the idea? Okay, that is one piece, and now we're going to get into all the wonderfulness that Heidi has created for us, and we're going to start with the slimline card. So here is the card, and what she has used comes out of the luxury card topper kit, that basic kit. And actually, yeah, I don't think I lied, but I did lie. Okay, this is out of the 8x8 paper. I beg your pardon. Now, we do start with our slimline cards. Now, you can certainly make your own card, as always. We just find it easier to get to the fun stuff. So we've got 10 cards, 10 envelopes. You can see the item number down below. And you can see on this 8x8 sheet, by the way, these are double-sided. May be hard to see it, but there's a very light dot right there. This is going to become this piece. Isn't that lovely? And what she did is she matted it on a piece out of the adorable scoreable, so you can see that narrow mat. She allowed the card itself to be a white border, so you get kind of that double duty going on. Then she also used a darker blue out of the adorable scoreable and took our very handy 12 circle and scalloped cutting dies, cut the circle out of green. She matted it on the scallop out of the blue. That works beautifully. And then she added some dazzles. The Just For You comes from our more greeting dazzles. Now, this has got this sheet that you see with all of the greetings. Just For You is right there in black, white, gold, silver, and I think brown. So they're just right there for you. Now, Heidi does a really neat thing. When she mats this, she sometimes will wrap ribbon or jute or something around it. So she did go into the blue ribbon set and wrap this around the matted paper before she glued it onto the front of her card. Then she just zodded on a bow. Now, for the inside of her card, she first covered it completely with the green cardstock, and then she took a piece. This is out of the insert. Now, it has this area, but she just wanted the pink dot. So she cut it to size, glued it to the inside. All of the measurements are down below in the gallery. And then she zodded a bow right there. And then she added more dazzles, same from the same collection. So all of that just makes this very nice, very striking card. And one thing she could have done, she could have taken the other side of this piece and used it on the inside of her card. But you know, knowing Heidi, she's going to save that for the front of another card, which I think is really, really smart. Okay, so that takes care of our very first card. Now we're going to go to the second one, and it is something different also. Let me get it out here. Okay, I'm slipping that over there. And here is the card. How fun. You see those things kind of fluttering? Well, this is also an easel card. And I don't think I've seen things fluttering like that, which I think is fun. It just adds some movement and some fun to it. Now, Heidi took our regular cards, which, as you may know, measure 5 by 6.5. She cut it down to be a 5-inch square card, and that just works fine. And then she took, let me see, the pink dot again from the insert. Well, I guess I just showed it to you. On the inserts, I think you get 4 of each, so there's lots to have. So the same one, and she has cut it into 2 pieces because she's going to cover each part of the front of her card. Maybe it would be nice if I told you how to do that. So you've got your 5 by 5 card, you're going to take the front and you're going to fold it so that it just goes to the score line in the middle. And that's going to create that easel, which is so important. So she did take the insert and cut 2 pieces. And then she edged them with the thin line dazzles. Now, I think you can see them. Steve, we may have to get in closer to take a look at that. There you go. So it's just a flash of silver. You're really getting it on the foil die cuts, aren't you? But it just makes such a nice finishing touch. Very, very nicely done. Now, what she also did is she took this piece. Now on this die cut foiled sheet, which by the way, in that topper collection, there are 114 foil die cuts. This happens to be 3 of them. Now normally we kind of pop them out and maybe use them separately, but Heidi elected to keep them together. So what she did is she popped them out and then she backed them onto a piece of the white adorable scoreable, but she only glued the bottom part. I'll tell you why. Because she wanted to put some strips of acetate and sandwich them in between the die cuts and the backing paper. So she just glued the bottom part down, and then she could punch out some more of the other pieces. So you can see the cake she used. She used the congratulations, you deserve a treat, you're so sweet, and the cupcake, all of those. And she glued them using the extra sticky tape, and she glued them onto strips of acetate. Now, she called for the heat-resistant acetate, which is really nice because it gives you the double duty of being acetate, plus you can stamp on it and heat emboss it, which is really wonderful, and it won't warp, and it's just really, really good. So that's what she elected to do. So she cut, I think it's about a 1/2 inch by 3-inch long strips, attached them to the die cuts, and then slipped them in and glued them in place in the cardstock, between the die cut and the cardstock. Hopefully that makes sense to you. Okay, and then that whole piece, she glued just the bottom of it to the bottom of the card, okay? That way this part is left open. Now, are you seeing these flashes of twinkles right in here? Well, that is a product called Doodads, and these happen to be birthday bling doodads. They are little circles that are elevated, so they're rounded, and they have glitter in them, and there's all kinds of colors, as you can see. In fact, there's one that's peeking out. These are perfect for shaker cards, as you might imagine, but don't they look really, really fun on a card? In fact, we can get in a little closer, can we, Steve? There we go. Now you can see it. So she's just glued them on. We like to use the Cosmic Shimmer Specialist glue. So you just put some dots down and then position your pieces on top, and they'll just dry. That glue will dry clear. But doesn't it add some extra sparkle? I think it's really nice. And you're getting a good look at those thin line dazzles too. Now, on the inside of the card, she has used another of the adorable scorable, the bright pink, and just simply covered the inside of the card with that. And then she used, this is another of the adorable scorable, so you can see that she has used just this corner to place right here. And then she also lined it with the thin line dazzles. This is the silver, of course. And then popped out another of the die cut pieces and popped it up on foam tape. Some more of the birthday doodads right there, and a ribbon. Now the ribbons that she used are from our dotted ribbon collection. So that's a fun. Lene always says that dots are just happy, and I think she's exactly right. So it's a really nice look to it, and pretty easily done for all the bang that you're going to get. Now it's a little bit large maybe to put in an envelope, but you could tuck it into a gift or use just one of the great big envelopes that you can get at the stationery store or office supply store. Okay, we're not done, not by a long shot. We have more. Now this is another supersized card. We'll back up just a smidge just so you can see the whole thing. And this is definitely going to take a pattern. Can you see it? Now you want to start, let me just bring out the patterns and I'll show them to you. So here is the download. You're going to get actually 2 downloads. Now these are located in the gallery. When you click on the gallery, you'll see all of the cards. Click on this one, and then when you go to see it, you'll see a supply list. At the end of the supply list, it will say download, and that's right before the instructions. So I'm going to just tell you what it's also going to say. Now this particular card, if you had it laid out flat, is going to measure 8 1/4 by 11 1/2 inches. So it's pretty large. So what we've done is that if you will take a 12 by 12 piece of white cardstock and cut off an 8 1/4 by 11 1/2 piece, then when you print this out, you're going to place the bottom edge of this against the bottom edge of your cardstock. Then if you will take a ruler and our penknife, and the penknife is just going to be a wonderful job, wonderful tool, and then you're going to cut along the straight lines and all of the broken lines. I'm just going to retract that blade. All the broken lines are going to be score lines. They're going to be lines you're going to fold. So you're going to want to score along each of those. Okay, these are the 2 that are going to fold the whole card, and it tells you if it's a mountain or a valley fold. What's the difference? Well, this is a mountain fold. It looks like a mountain. This is a valley fold. Do you see how it looks like a V valley? That's the difference. And you're just going to kind of accordion fold these. So this is mountain, followed by a valley, followed by a mountain, down in a valley, up on the mountain. And then this is also a mountain. So this is going to create your card base. These papers are going to be the paper patterns. So what Heidi has done is she has used one of the parchments, and isn't this a gorgeous parchment? And she has used these to cover her steps. So the large parchment pattern is what you're going to cut out. You know, just cut it out, and then you're going to glue it onto that base. Okay, now Heidi said that she was very successful attaching the parchment simply using a glue stick, and glue stick is my all-time favorite. So I recommend that to you. Follow her lead. Then she has edged this with the blue jewel border dazzles. You can see they've got a silver accent, and just place them all around the edge. You will need to use a couple of different patterns. If you can see that she's done the same thing. They're both pretty wide, so they do a really nice job of holding this together. Now, what did she use for the art right here? Well, this is going to go into that little book. And there it is. It is a little book of promises. So the promises are like this. Now they measure 4 1/8 by 5 3/4. And this gets matted. It's going to get matted on the Adorable Squirrel first on the light blue and then on the dark blue, just like that. And that's going to go onto the top step, but only after you use the patterns. And let me bring them back. You see there's a step parchment pattern and another step parchment pattern. Obviously, the tallest one is going to go on the tallest step right there. So just glue it on. In all cases, she has allowed the white card base to be a matte. So you can see right here, same thing happens on each of the steps. So with this step, you're going to glue your parchment down. And Heidi did put a strip of the border dazzles right along there. You only get kind of a glimmer at each end. Then she glued the base of that large, from the little book. It's looking pretty big right here though, right here. Now the second parchment piece is going to go right there. This is the narrower one. And what Heidi has done is in that same book, there are cutouts. Let me just show you. Now you get, let me see. You get 6 of each one. Okay, I just want to make sure I'm telling you correctly. So you can see what she's done, that she has taken Never Give Up on Your Dreams, cut it out, glued it right there. There is a little bird right here, cut it out, glue it right there. She's got the hot air balloons. Now again, you get 6 of each one. So there's one there, the blue one, and you don't have to do any matting or anything, just trim them out. As a matter of fact, if you have our 4.5-inch scissors, that is so easy for cutting, fussy cutting things out like that. So these have been foam taped. Actually, all of these have been foam taped. Right here, that is this little spray of flowers, peonies right there. I Believe in You is another one of the cutouts right here. And then there's a butterfly and another of the blue balloons. Using the blue ribbon assortment, that's where she's done the 2 bows and to zot them in place. So you can see that it really does a nice job. Now you will probably want to make use of a bone folder just to really press down on all of those fold lines and score lines. So just a really beautiful card. And of course, you can change the greeting, change any of the things on it just to make it truly yours. And be sure to use that pattern more than once. It's just going to work really, really well. Before I move on, Heidi wanted me to tell you that this card is an adaptation of one from Teresa that Teresa did on her Fabulous Folded Cards DVD. So I want to give Teresa credit too. A great starting point for Heidi. Now here is another card, and this one is going to use the cutting die. And let me show you this cutting die. It is gorgeous. It's all of these pieces. There are 7 pieces in it, and Debbie cut all of them out for me so I could really share them with you. So here's this one piece. I guess I should have it that way. And most of these, or many of these, do die cut out as you would expect, but some of them will give you a piece like this. So it's kind of a cutaway piece. So you'd want to cut out around that. Same thing with this one. It's going to die cut that strip, but you're going to want to just trim it out the edge. Here's another little one, and then isn't that beautiful? So that's another one. So dots around the leaves and just gorgeous. So okay, got all of that in mind. Okay, so we're going to place those over, and then let me get you started on the card. Now this is going to be a smaller card. It also, we're going to take our basic card and trim it down to 5 by 5. And then what Heidi has done is some interesting things here. The base of the card, or the art on the card, comes from this sheet from the Topper collection, the Peony Promise Luxury Card Collection. And you can see it's this piece, but what she's done is that the center area is actually foam taped up. The other thing that she's done that I think is just, I truly would never have thought of it, is she took our new hammered silver. This is actually embossed paper. And she die cut this piece out of it. And then she glued it. In fact, she used the sticky specs, I'll show you those in a second, to place it right on top of the artwork. So you get kind of this double whammy of, and because she did the silver, it's going to go nicely with the silver foiling. It doesn't conflict with it because it's not holographic. It is just the texture and the color of the silver. So she has taken this piece and she has matted it on, let me get it out here, on this edge. See, this is the adorable squirrel, the foil that's in the package. By the way, so it has 114 foil die cuts, 8 foil cardstock, this is one, and then 8 printed cardstocks, as well as an idea sheet, which is what Hunkydory always gives us, which we love so much. So this has been the matting, and it was placed like this. So you get this edging of the peonies. And then she also matted it onto the hammered silver, as you can see. So really nice. Now the thinking of you is right there. The other thing that she's done right here, now this is this border, as you know, and she has glued it. In fact, let me show you the sticky specs. I talked about that. Sticky specs has just been just a wonderful, wonderful tool for all of us, and it comes from our friends Ecstasy in Canada. And what you do is lift up, you get 4 sheets in the package for A4 size, and you lift back the plastic, then you place your die cut on it, and then you gently rub it. And what happens is the millions of little micro dots in there will attach to your cutout, and you lift it off. I don't have anything to place this on, let's see. And then you can just position it on anything and it's going to stay. It might have been nice if I had something dark, wouldn't it? Let's see. I know. So you just go like that. And what's nice is that all of those delicate pieces just stay right down, and it's effortless to do. Okay, so that's our sticky specs little demo there. I'll bring that over. So what she did with this is she wanted to bring vellum into it. Now we have a vellum package that is 9 sheets of 8.5 by 11 vellum. 3 of the sheets are the swirl. 3 of the sheets are a dot. There you go, you can see the dot. And 3 of the sheets are a heart with dots. Okay, so you get 3 sheets of each one. And it really doesn't make any difference which one you use, but she took this and did the sticky specs and placed it onto the vellum. Then she colored the back of it, and she went into the tri-blend markers. Now she used the Vibrant Exotic package, and you can use any of them, and she colored on the back of the vellum. Okay, that way she gets the color behind them. And what's nice about the tri-blend is you can go lighter, you can go darker. You've got all 3 shades in one pen. It's really neat. So that is what she has done right here. And she just glued that down onto the front of her card. Very clever, a good technique to remember. On the inside of her card, well, remember she used this sheet on the front of the card. Well, the back side of it she used on the inside of her card. Isn't that pretty? She did the same thing. She's got the hammered gold out of the Peony cutting die and just glued that on top. And then she took 2 of the individual flowers, attached them with the sticky specks to vellum, colored just the flower portion, and glued and foam taped them to the on top of the die cut area. This is one of the foil die cuts out of the package, and she dotted bows. Now the bows come from the dotted collection, I believe. No, it comes from the magenta and dark pink collection. There you go. You can see there's a dot in there. Okay, we have one more, and you might recall there was a stamp in the Peony Promise collection, and that stamp looks like this. Just a great, big, generous flower, 2 of the greetings. And what Heidi has elected to do is she took cardstock and she used a Versamark. You could also use the watermark or the Wow embossing. All of these are watermark ink pads. She happened to use the Versamark. So first stamped that, and then she went into this set. It's called Park Floral, P-A-R-C Floral. It's designed by our very own Sarah Newman. And it comes as a trio. And Heidi used the hydrangea. And Steve, I'm going to ask you to get in closer, if you will, because it just is such a pretty, very gentle, even closer, if you can. Okay, I'm not sure you can eat there. That's helpful. So you can see there's some purple, there's some pink, there's even some yellow in there. That is all with this embossing powder. And hydrangea is part of the Park Floral collection of 3 embossing powders. There's also an azalea, which is pink, and there's also a yellow, which is sunflower. Like those really pretty colors. So she first stamped with the Versamark, then poured on the embossing powder, tapped it off, and used a heat gun to melt it to get it right there. Just really lovely. Now, then she did some matting. So she went into the parchment, and there is this dotted purple. And then she also used a lighter purple. Let's see, to be the second mat. So you can see just like that right here. So there is her piece. Then she wrapped it with ribbon, and the ribbon that she used is the glimmer ribbon. This is a 1/4 inch glimmer ribbon. It has this kind of sparkly look, just really nice. Wrapped it around there and glued it to the front of her, once again, a 5x5 card. And this time she's done some stamping. As I said, in that stamp set, there are 2 greetings. One is sending you happiness. The other one is begin each day with a grateful heart. And she used the damson wine ink pad to stamp that, and then she cut it out using our 12 circles and scallops cutting die, so you can see that. And the scallop is out of a darker purple cardstock out of the Adorable Scorable. So all of that is going on. Inside, I already gave you a peek, didn't I? Well, this time that great big peony is simply stamped with the damson wine. So just a really useful color. And again, we're doing a white of the Adorable Scorable, the purple. We're adding that same ribbon that's on the front and just making a very lovely statement. This is a very full package. So let me just recap. We've got the Peony Promise Luxury Card Kit. You saw the 8x8. You saw the stamp. I'm going to lose something on this table. You saw the cutting die. There's also the parchment. There's also the inserts. Yes, we're going to have to back up, Steve. Also the Adorable Scorable. All of that in this wonderful, wonderful collection. Heidi, you've done an outstanding job. I thank you so much for your time and your effort and your talent. And thank you for watching us. There is a money saver. Come on, let's save some money. Over on the right side of the screen, remember all the directions are down below. If you happen to be watching this on YouTube, please Come on over, get the benefit of the Money Saver. You can see all the new products we have. Sign up for our emails so you'll never miss anything. And by the way, we have a sale almost every single day. I want to thank you for joining us, and thank you for being, as always, the very best part of paperwishes.com.